for pay period ending December 15th, 2022 in the amount of $1,030,619.22. 3. Regular payroll for pay period ending December 31st in the amount of $1,015,983.09. 4. Regular payroll payout for pay period ending December 31st, 2022 in the amount of $15,280.41. 5. Retiree payroll for pay period ending December 31st, 2022 in the amount of $45,691.85. B. Minutes of meeting January 4th, 2023. C. E. Confirm reappointment of Michael Laughlin to the Arts Commission. F. Upgrade vacant legal technician 1 position, grade 9 to legal technician senior, grade 14 for the Bremerton Municipal Court. G. Acceptance of grant agreement with Kitsap County Department of Human Services for the 1/10 of 1% funding. This concludes the reading of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Clerk. Does any member of the public wish to comment on any one of these consent agenda items? So please come up to the podium or raise your hand on Zoom. Sure. All right, seeing none, we'll go to the council for a motion.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Mockler and a second by Councilmember Fry. And therefore I call for the question.
Councilmember Chamberlain,
Yes.
Fry,
Yes.
Dennehy,
Yes.
Goodnow,
Yes.
Mockler,
Yes.
Younger.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously. Next on the agenda is public recognition.
Noted on the agenda, public recognition provides an opportunity for attendees to address the council on any city-related item that's not already listed on tonight's agenda. Again, please come up to the podium or raise your hand on Zoom and wait to be recognized. We'll start in person at the podium. With that, please go ahead.
My name is Mary Lou Long. I've been a resident of Bremerton for quite a few years. How should I say this? Council and Mayor Wheeler, you have offended me. Your lack of reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to our national flag cannot go without acknowledgement. Our community has opened this public meeting for more than 50 years with that pledge. Now you've decided it is not worthy of respect by reciting it as an opening to our city public meetings. I thought we were on one nation under one unified government represented by our flag. I thought those we elected to represent us would be in agreement with the principles spoken in the pledge to the flag. When we say under God, we are not pledging to any specific religious sect. We are recognizing we are all subject to the God of nature. Even if there are those of you who think we were created by some Big Bang theory, I have to ask you, what do you think caused the Big Bang? Or for that matter, everything that happened after the bang, what caused that spark? It started everything. Why do we have a constitution? These are rules to play fairly by. Moses gave the world the 10 Commandments to bring civility and peace and order to his people and to the world. Our laws establish a moral compass. These two documents guide us in our decision. I believe they are both footprints to guide us in the righteous path. Again, I wonder, does your being offended weigh more importantly than my being offended? Do the rest of the citizens paying taxes and abiding by our government bodies have a disdain as you display for the flag and the pledge? I think not. I have a husband who's a retired military officer. My son served in the military, he's now retired. So we're definitely patriotic. I I have to ask myself, why do you wish to hold a public office and swear into that official position if you don't even respect the flag of the country we live in? When you were sworn in, what words did you say and what words did you leave out? I thank God for having been born in this great country. I thank the wise men that wrote down the principles that have made our country a free and prosperous country. And now if you would like to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. With that, I thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else for public recognition, in person or on Zoom? All right, we have in person. Go ahead.
Council members, Council President. I'm Mike Simpson, long-time resident of Bremerton. Well, I think it's very important that we are reminded when we at the meeting why we were here. And if the simple reason that this allegiance isn't decided simply because some members of council voice an antagonistic attitude, I see that's a problem. Simply because that doesn't fall into ethics and the norm. And the rules of the city of the antagonistic.
Can you speak further into the mic?
Let me turn it up so I apologize. It's a bit difficult here. Thank you. So if for some reason the council voices an antagonistic attitude towards persons of faith, you're not fulfilling your duty to represent all of us. And I would strongly recommend that we restore the pledge of allegiance to the people as we've done in the past. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. We'll note that it is an optional, and we have done it and invited folks in to say the pledge, so it's still possible. Anyone else for public recognition? All right, we have one more. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Dave Cooper. I've been a resident of Bremerton for 65, so homegrown. I wasn't planning on speaking. Thank you. I wasn't planning on speaking tonight, but when I heard the previous folks talk about the Pledge of Allegiance, I wasn't aware that was something we did not do, even though I've attended a few meetings. I would just strongly encourage that to be reinstated. If it's an optional thing, then I think that the option should be say the pledge. We are U.S. citizens and have that freedom because of that. But that fact represents.
Well, thank you for your comments. Anyone else for public recognition? Sounds like there's nothing online. All right, seeing none, I will now close for public recognition and we'll move on to general business. But since there are no general business items tonight, we'll move ahead to council reports. So with no general business items, we'll start with District 7, since it's the last meeting of the month, which is Council Member Eric Younger.
Yes, thank you. No report.
Thank you, Council Member. District 6, Donna Mockman.
Thank you. May I have the first slide, please? So this is just something for general information and to be presented. Will become part of the packet subsequent to this meeting. I'm not going to tell you about a stormwater webinar I attended, but I did find this aspect of it interesting as to the degree in which the public has an impact on a decision. So I'm not going to go on and on about this now, but just if at some point in the future it's interesting, you would be interested in looking at it, here it is. It's It's a lot more work, obviously, to involve the public in every step of a decision, but I think it's, it's a worthy goal. Next slide, please. So I've been back to having my in-person town hall since the emergency declaration was lifted. We've had January, December, and we'll move on to January after February because that's how these slides fell. But the District 6 Town Hall on February 13th will, I think, be really interesting. It's an opportunity to find out how you can help the vulnerable. If you're not vulnerable, be grateful and think about the fact that quite likely some of your neighbors may well be. And it's really a help if you can say, instead of saying, I don't know what to do, I feel really bad for you, it'd be nice to be able to go, you know what? We have this great resource right here in Bremerton. It's our community resources. So I invite you to come. There will not be pancakes, but it's at the Public Works facility at 100 Oyster Bay. So there'll be tables, chairs, electricity. Next slide, please. This is the January town hall in which Mr. Garrett Jackson is talking to a number of people about the comprehensive plan at bremerton2044.com and about the fact that the community survey is open until February 1st. Next slide, please. Just a larger view of it. There were like 12 or 14 people there, which was better than the month before. We're hoping, by continually harping on the fact that there's electricity and cable, that people will just start flocking. Thank you, Mayor, for attending. Thank you, Director Spencer. Next slide, please. More community members. It's nice to be able to see their faces instead of just their backs. Okay, next slide. One of the things that is happening in the coming week is the Project Connect on January 25th of 2023, obviously. It'll be right at the Salvation Army, right down the street, and really look at the different things that are available because you never know. People are really good at going, I'm on top of it, everything is fine, I need nothing. Just really think about stuff that you might be able to offer down the line. Or, it's entirely possible that you yourself might someday fall through the ice and need some of this. The kids have housing and homelessness, the Salvation Army, the kids have Department of Human Services. This is like a really good pair. Next slide, please. More slides? The slides are open. Okay. I think the connecting thread, do I have one more minute?
Yep, minute and a half.
All righty then. The connecting thread among all of these is the more we listen to each other, the more we participate in public. Are we going to get every single thing we want? We are not. Is it going to make the new millennium descend upon us? It will not. But the more we participate in the community around us, the more we become stewards for that community. Instead of being like the subjects of a government, we are the people who influence how that government acts upon us. And again, are we going to get every single thing we want? We will not. But I'm just honoring people who, stand up and say, this is what I like. That's pretty much it. I'd like to thank all of you for coming and have a good week.
Thank you, Councilmember Mockler. Next up is District 5, Councilmember Michael Goodenow. No report this month. Thank you, Councilmember. Next is District 4, Councilmember Quinn Dennehy.
Hey everyone, I miss seeing you in person. I just got back from a trip and I'm self-isolating based on some symptoms, but I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in person very soon. I just want to commend Councilmember Mockler. That spectrum that you put up is absolutely what we should be doing as leaders. I had an amazing professor, Dr. Karen Mapp, who talked about engagement specifically within public school systems. And she's received awards about how well she engages the community and makes them the decision makers at every single level. And so I just really appreciated that slide and your enthusiasm of making sure that community members are involved. And I believe you deserve those kudos. I also want to thank the members, of course. I also want to thank the members in the audience that have very strong convictions who spoke up today. I would love to sit down and have a coffee with somebody to explain my point of view as an attorney and somebody that very much believes in the First Amendment, which really protects the rights of religion, but also makes sure that the state isn't imposing those beliefs on other people. Happy 2023, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you, Councilmember Dennehy. Next up will be Council District 2, Councilmember Denise Fry.
Thank you. Can you tee up those slides for me, please? I am really excited about things that are happening in District 2. Many of us are still grieving the old Henry hardware store on Wheaton, the SR 303. It was my go-to, certainly. You know, I have a little duplex and I do a lot of the work myself, and I could go into that store and, you know, get things I needed and know somebody was going to be there to help me. It had that hometown kind of feel, you know. But the good news is that now that it's empty, it created a vacuum. And Dave, if you go to the next slide, St. Vinny's is moving their thrift store into this big new space, which is the old Henry hardware. And for the community in East Bremerton, this is a big deal. To have access to that space, I think, is really supportive of all of us. You know, I don't always go to a thrift store, but I like to be able to go to a thrift store in my community. And so, other than Goodwill. Both do great work, but I'm just so happy that St. Vinny's has the opportunity to kind of stretch and be able to bring more used items to our community who need them. All right, next. We heard about this in study session last week, and normally we don't make decisions in study sessions, but this was imperative that we make the decision. As you know, the council is very strongly supportive of developing more affordable housing where it works and in partnership with other organizations. And I've visited this development, which is Mills Crossing, up again on State Route 303, what we call the corridor, and it's really nice. And yet, you know, it's for sale because the developer now wants to scoot out, and so it's up for sale. And what we heard about was that Kitsap Community Resources, in partnership with a lot of other community organizations, wants to buy it and make it affordable housing. And it was just such great news. I want to. It's not a done deal. I mean, they've got a lot of other hoops to go through. But I want to thank Mayor Wheeler and our community development staff for getting this to us in time to help. If you could just go forward one. It wasn't long ago that we were talking about creating affordable housing in this, what's on the screen. It's the old Harrison Hospital site, which is toxic, you know. And while I really always appreciated our attempts and our discussions to see what could happen with this site, I think we pretty quickly realized that it wasn't appropriate for anybody to live in. And I know that people were disappointed when we made that decision. But going to the next slide, I mean, this is what they're getting instead, which is for families, it's 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and for families, this is going to be absolutely incredible. The change of life, our quality of life is going to be incredible, and it crosses every box. I mean, it's right next to the transit station, the new transit station on Wheaton Way. So it's right along the corridor, close to retail. This is the direction everybody says we should be going, and it feels good. And just last slide, and I know I'm out of time, but this is what collaboration can do when the city is able to collaborate with the county and others. And I know there were others involved with them, but I forgot who was on that slide. I just want to give a shout out to all these organizations, including our council and our city administration, for being able to get this thing so far so quickly. I'm going to cross my fingers, certainly throw my support. It's in District 2. Bring it, Mayor. We love this kind of stuff. So thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councilmember Fry. Next up for District 1 is Councilmember Jennifer Chamberlain.
Yes, if you could bring up my slides. I'm just kidding. You know why there's no slides? Because I never figured out how to safely send pictures. So I've got to talk with IT after this. But my intention had been to brag about our parks. Stephenson Canyon has some stuff going on, some good stuff. I figured that one of the New Year's resolutions I could keep was to go to a park a day, go to a park every day for at least 90 days. And I've been able to do that, not just parks in Bremerton, parks elsewhere, but then I had a nice opportunity to chat with Director Elevato, find out about the park system, because I want to track my mileage too. So I'm hoping to come back in 2 weeks and have a mileage check of all the parks in Bremerton that I've walked. But what I learned is Nad Park has the longest forested trail, and they actually have 2 sections of trail. They have 1.5 miles in the main trail and another almost a mile on the marine trail. So if you're looking for a longer one, go there. Stephenson Canyon is open for now to traverse in. There's a little bit of a pause on some of the construction that's going on right there. So I did take a few walks there, but I highly encourage y'all to get out there and rain or shine, get out there and be active and take part in all the beautiful parks we have. I'm going to visit Madrona Trails, which is in Council District 2 over the weekend. So, but I just appreciate all that the Parks Department does to keep our green spaces beautiful. And that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Chamberlain. Last up is myself. I got a few slides for District 3 and then a few other remarks after that. Councilmember Mockler already covered this, so it's down in Salvation Army, so stop on by if you need any resources. Next slide. Wanted to mention too, learned about this week, just for folks out there. As you start going to tax filing season, there is a new Washington tax credit for people who qualify. So if you think you might, go to the workingfamiliescredit.law.gov and check it out. Definitely something I'll make sure people don't miss if they qualify for it. And next slide. I wanted to give also a kudos to Public Works. They've been really fantastic about meeting with residents and neighborhoods, especially when there's projects going on. District 3, we've got the 11th and Perry project happening. We've got this Washington Avenue and 11th Street project. They've been really fantastic about meeting with the business owners, the residents, getting their feedback, and then keeping them in the loop with what's going on. And I pulled this graphic that was a flyer that was handed out to folks at a neighborhood meeting and a business meeting. Just thought it was really nice how it laid out the whole project and what to expect going forward and how to give their feedback and who to contact. So again, kudos to Public Works, much appreciated. I believe that's my last slide. There's one more thing. Yes, the last one. Oh, I think I didn't put this in there. Before I do this, I want to put happy birthday to Councilmember Younger coming up in a few days. I didn't want to miss that. But then, yes, as well. So I believe this is a tradition going back. I'm not sure how long, but I think quite a ways. there's a tradition that when there is changing of the council president, the former council president gets their gavel on a plaque. I want to read it. It says, in recognition, Michael Goodnow, for your outstanding leadership as council president in 2022, presented by the Bremerton City Council. And Councilman Goodnow, I just, I want to say that the past year in 2022, we started it, still in pandemic. We were meeting remotely. Not only were there 2 new council members, Chamberlain and myself, coming on, fresh-faced. We had shake up with 2 more throughout the year as well. And then we got back to in person, and you did such a phenomenal job of keeping things rolling, keeping us together, keeping us on our feet, training up a lot of us new members. So I just want to appreciate you for really just a fantastic job tackling a really difficult year. So thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
And I believe that finishes up my report. Just looking forward to our council retreat coming up in a week and a half, tackling a lot of big topics. Just look forward to working with you all on that. And I'll remind you that the next meeting is a study session next week, which will be held here in the first floor meeting chambers on Wednesday, January 25th, beginning at 5 p.m. And that concludes tonight's regular council business. Meeting is adjourned.